Good evening, dear listener. Tonight, we wander into the gentle, honey-sweet world of Winnie-the-Pooh, the beloved tale by A. Milne, brought to life through the timeless illustrations of E.H. Shepard. Before we begin, if these quiet bedtime journeys bring you peace, feel free to like the video and subscribe. I'd truly love to know where you're listening from and what hour of the night has brought you here. Our little circle now drifts across oceans, connected by stories and calm. So dim the lights, let the world grow still, and let your thoughts float softly with me into tonight's story. Chapter 1, in which we are introduced to Winnie-the-Pooh and some bees, and the stories begin. Here is Edward Bear again, coming downstairs, now bump, bump, bump. Every soft thud landing on the back of his head as he follows Christopher Robin down the steps. As far as he has ever known, this is simply the way one must come downstairs. Still, every now and then, he feels there must be another way. If only he could stop bumping long enough to think of it properly. Then, as soon as the thought arrives, it drifts away again, and he decides perhaps there isn't another way after all. But here he is now, safely at the bottom, waiting quite patiently to be introduced. Winnie-the-Pooh. When I first heard his name, I said, just as you were about to say, that I thought he must surely be a boy. So did I, Christopher Robin said. Then you can't call him Winnie, I said. I don't, he told me, but you said he's Winnie-the-Pooh. Don't you know what that means? Oh, yes, I said quickly. Now I do. And I hope you do too, because it's the only explanation you're going to get. Sometimes, when Pooh comes downstairs, he likes a little game of some kind. And sometimes, he prefers to sit very quietly by the fire and listen to a story. This evening, what about a story? Said Christopher Robin. What about a story? I replied. Could you very sweetly tell Winnie-the-Pooh one now? I suppose I could, I said. What sort does he like? Stories about himself, said Christopher Robin, because he's that sort of bear. Oh, I see. Well, I'll try, I said. So I tried. Once upon a time, quite a long time ago now, though it feels very much like last Friday, Winnie-the-Pooh lived alone in the forest under the name of Sanders. What does under the name mean? Asked Christopher Robin. It means he had the name written in gold letters over his door, and he lived underneath it, I explained. Pooh wasn't entirely sure about this, but Christopher Robin seemed satisfied. One day, I continued, when Pooh was out walking, he wandered into a clearing in the middle of the forest. And in the very center stood a tall oak tree. From high up in that tree came a deep, steady, buzzing sound. Pooh sat down at the foot of the trunk, put his head between his paws, and began to think. First of all, he said to himself, that buzzing must mean something. You never get a buzzing sort of buzzing unless somebody is making it. And the only reason I know for making a buzzing noise is because you are a bee. He thought for a long while more. And the only reason for being a bee is to make honey. And then, slowly, but quite firmly, he got to his feet. And the only reason for making honey is so that I can eat it, he decided. So he began to climb the tree. Higher and higher he went, humming a little song as he climbed. Isn't it funny how a bear likes honey? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I wonder why he does. Up he went, a little further, and then a little further still, until at last he thought of another song. It's a funny thought. If bears were bees, they'd build their nests at the bottom of trees. And that being so, if bees were bears, we shouldn't have to climb these stairs. He was getting rather tired by then, which is why he sang it in a small, complaining sort of voice. He was nearly at the top when, "If I just stand on this branch," said Pooh, just before he slipped and fell 10 feet onto the one below. "If only I hadn't," he added as he bounced 20 feet onto another. "You see what I meant to do," he explained, tumbling head over heels onto a branch still farther down. "It was rather," he admitted as he slid through 6 branches in a hurry. "It all comes," he sighed, spinning 3 times and flying gracefully into a prickly gorse bush, "from liking honey so very much." "Oh, help," he said softly. After brushing the prickles from his nose, he began to think again, and the first person he thought of was Christopher Robin. "Was that me?" asked Christopher Robin, almost breathless with delight. "That was you," I said. Christopher Robin's eyes grew rounder and rounder, and his cheeks pinker and pinker. So Pooh went to find Christopher Robin, who lived behind a green door on another side of the forest. "Good morning, Christopher Robin," he said. "Good morning, Winnie-the-Pooh," Christopher Robin answered. "I wonder," said Pooh politely, "whether you might have such a thing as a balloon about you?" "A balloon?" "Yes," Pooh said. "I just asked myself on the way here whether you might." "And what do you want a balloon for?" Pooh looked around very carefully, put a paw to his mouth, and whispered, "Honey." "But you don't get honey with balloons," you said. "I do," said Pooh. "Luckily, you had been to a party at Piglet's the day before and had come home with 2 balloons, a large green one and a large blue one. "Which would you like?" you asked. Pooh put his head between his paws and thought hard. When one goes after honey with a balloon, the important thing is not to let the bees know you are coming. With a green balloon, they might think you are part of the tree. With a blue balloon, they might think you are part of the sky. And the question is, which is more likely? Wouldn't they see you underneath the balloon? You asked. They might, or they might not, said Pooh. You never can tell with bees. He thought a moment longer. I shall try to look like a small black cloud. Then you had better take the blue balloon, you said. So it was settled. Pooh went to a very muddy place he knew of and rolled about until he was entirely black. Then the balloon was blown up to its biggest. And when both of you held the string tight and suddenly let go, Pooh floated gently into the sky, level with the treetop, about 20 feet away. Hooray! You called. Isn't this fine? Pooh called down. What do I look like? You look like a bear holding on to a balloon, you said. Not, said Pooh anxiously, like a small black cloud in the blue sky. Not very much. Ah, said Pooh, perhaps from up here it looks different. You never can tell with bees. There was no wind, so Pooh drifted nowhere at all. He could smell the honey. He could almost taste the honey, but he could not quite reach it. After a while, he called down, Christopher Robin. Yes? I think the bees suspect something. What sort of thing? I don't know, said Pooh, but something tells me they are suspicious. Perhaps they think you and I are after their honey. Saw. He was quiet a little more, and then called again. Christopher Robin? Yes? Do you have an umbrella at your house? I think so. I wish you would bring it and walk about saying, Tut-toot, it looks like rain. It might help the deception. You laughed softly, silly old bear, but went to fetch the umbrella all the same. When you returned, Pooh called down. I was beginning to get anxious. The bees are now definitely suspicious. Shall I put my umbrella up? You asked. Yes, but wait. We must be practical. The most important bee to deceive is the queen bee. Can you see which one she is from down there? No, you said. Oh, said Pooh. Well, if you walk up down with your umbrella and say, Tut-tut, it looks like rain, I shall sing a little cloud song. So while you walked and wondered whether it did look like rain, Pooh sang softly, How sweet to be a cloud floating in the blue. Every little cloud always sings aloud. but the bees continued to buzz suspiciously. One even settled on Pooh's nose for a moment. "Christopher Robin," he called. "Yes?" "I've been thinking, these are the wrong sort of bees." "Are they?" "Quite the wrong sort. And so they must make the wrong sort of honey. So I think I shall come down." "How?" you asked. Pooh hadn't thought of that. If he let go, he would fall, and he didn't like the idea at all. After thinking a long time, he called, "Christopher Robin, you must pop the balloon with a rock." "Of course," you said, "but it will spoil the balloon." "But if you don't," said Pooh, "I shall have to let go, and that will spoil me." So you understood. You aimed carefully and threw a rock. "Ow," said Pooh. "Did I miss?" "You didn't miss exactly, but you missed the balloon," said Pooh. You apologized and threw again. And this time the balloon burst, and Pooh drifted gently down. But his arms had grown so stiff from holding on that they stayed straight up for more than a week. Whenever a fly landed on his nose, he had to blow it off. And that, I believe, though I'm not entirely certain, is why he has always been called Pooh. "Is that the end of the story?" asked Christopher Robin. "Well, the end of that one," I said. "There are others, about Pooh and me and you and Piglet and Rabbit. Don't you remember?" "I do," he said. "But when I try to remember, I forget. Like the day we tried to catch the Heffalump." "You didn't catch it," I said. "No, Pooh couldn't, because he hasn't any brain. Did I catch it?" "Well, that comes into the story." Christopher Robin nodded slowly. "I do remember. Only Pooh doesn't remember very well, and that's why he likes it told again. Then it feels like a real story, and not just a remembering." "That's just how I feel," I said. Christopher Robin sighed happily, picked Pooh up by the leg, and walked toward the door, trailing the bear along behind him. At the doorway, he turned back. "Are you coming to help me draw my bath?" "I might," I said. "I didn't hurt him with the rock, did I?" "Not a bit," I answered. He nodded and went out. And a moment later, I heard Winnie-the-Pooh once again going, "Bump, bump, bump." But this time, up the stairs. Chapter 2, in which Pooh goes visiting and gets into a tight place. Edward Bear, whom his friends called Winnie-the-Pooh, or simply Pooh, was wandering through the forest one soft morning, humming proudly to himself. He had invented a brand new little hum earlier that day while doing his stoutness exercises in front of the looking glass. "Tra-la-la, tra-la-la," he sang as he stretched up as high as he possibly could. Then tra-la-la, tra-la-la, as he bent down to try to touch his toes. After breakfast, he repeated it again and again until it settled comfortably in his mind. And now, feeling quite accomplished, he was humming it all the way through, properly this time. It went like this: tra-la-la, 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 rum-tum, tiddle-lum-tum, tiddle-little, 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 rum-tum-tum, tiddle-lum. As Pooh hummed his tune and strolled along, he wondered pleasantly what everyone else in the forest might be doing, and what it must feel like to be somebody else for a little while. And then, quite suddenly, he reached a sandy bank, and in that bank was a large hole. "Aha," said Pooh thoughtfully. "Rum-tum-tiddle-tum. If I know anything about anything, that hole means rabbit. And rabbit means company, and company means food, and someone to listen to me humming." So Pooh bent down, poked his head inside, and called, "Is anybody at home?" There was a quick scuffling sound, and then silence. "What I said was," Pooh called again, "Is anybody at home?" "No," said a voice promptly, "and you needn't shout so loud. I heard you perfectly well the first time." "Bother," said Pooh. "Isn't there anybody here at all?" "Nobody." Pooh pulled his head out and considered this. There must be somebody there, he thought, because somebody must have said nobody. So he put his head back in. "Hello, Rabbit. Isn't that you?" "No," said Rabbit in a rather different kind of voice. "But isn't that your voice?" "I don't think so," Rabbit replied politely. "It isn't meant to be." "Oh," said Pooh. He withdrew again, thought another long thought, and finally put his head in for a third time. "Well, could you very kindly tell me where Rabbit is?" "He has gone to see his friend, Pooh Bear," said the voice, "who is a great friend of his." "But this is me," said Pooh, quite surprised. "What sort of me?" asked the voice. "Pooh Bear," said Pooh. "Are you sure?" asked Rabbit, sounding even more surprised. Quite sure," said Pooh. "Oh, well then, come in." So Pooh pushed and squeezed and heaved his way through the hole until at last he tumbled inside. "You were right," said Rabbit, looking him over. "It is you. Glad to see you." "Who did you think it was?" asked Pooh. "Well, one never knows," said Rabbit. "One can't have just anybody wandering into one's house. One must be careful. Now then, what about a little something?" Pooh was always glad of a little something at 11 o'clock, and he brightened immediately as Rabbit laid out plates and mugs. When Rabbit asked, "Honey or condensed milk with your bread?" Pooh grew so excited that he said, "Both," and then, so as not to seem greedy, added, "But don't worry about the bread." After quite a long time of enjoying both, Pooh grew quiet, humming to himself in a very sticky sort of voice. At last he stood, shook Rabbit warmly by the paw, and said he must be going. "Must you?" said Rabbit politely. "Well," said Pooh, "I could stay a little longer if you..." And he gazed hopefully toward the larder. "As a matter of fact," said Rabbit, "I was going out myself." "Oh, well then, I'll be going. Goodbye." "Goodbye. You're sure you won't have any more?" "Is there any more?" asked Pooh quickly. Rabbit lifted the dish covers. "No, there isn't." "I thought not," said Pooh, nodding as if this proved something. "Goodbye then." He started toward the hole. He pulled with his front paws and pushed with his back paws. In a short while, his nose emerged into the open air, then his ears, then his front paws, then his shoulders, and then... "Oh," said Pooh, "I'd better go back." "Oh, bother. I shall have to go on. I can't do either. Oh, help and bother." By now, Rabbit was ready for his walk, and finding the front door completely filled with bear, he slipped out the back and came round to look at Pooh. "Hello? Are you stuck?" "Oh," said Pooh casually, "just resting and thinking and humming." "Give us a paw," said Rabbit. Pooh stretched one out, and Rabbit pulled and pulled and pulled. "Ow!" cried Pooh. "You're hurting." "Fact is," said Rabbit, "you're stuck. It all comes," he added sternly, "of eating too much." "It all comes," said Pooh gloomily, "of having front doors that aren't big enough." Rabbit sniffed. "I thought at the time," he said, "that one of us was eating too much, and I knew it wasn't me." "Well," Rabbit sighed, "I shall go and fetch Christopher Robin." Christopher Robin lived at the far end of the forest. When he returned with Rabbit and saw Pooh's front half sticking out of the door, he said in a loving voice, "Silly old bear," and everyone felt hopeful again. "I was beginning to think," said Pooh with a little sniff, "that Rabbit might never use his front door again. And I should hate that." "So should I," said Rabbit. "He'll use it again," said Christopher Robin firmly. "If we can't pull you out, Pooh, we might push you back." Rabbit thought about this, scratching his whiskers. "But once he's pushed back, he's back," he said. "And although I'm fond of Pooh, one has to consider one's house." "You mean," said Pooh, "I'd never get out?" "I mean," said Rabbit, "you've come so far, it seems a pity to waste it." Christopher Robin nodded gently. "There's only one thing to be done. We shall have to wait for you to get thin again." "How long does getting thin take?" asked Pooh anxiously. "About a week, I should think." "I can't stay here for a week," said Pooh, "You can stay here, silly old bear," said Christopher Robin kindly. "It's getting you out that's hard. We'll read to you. And I hope it won't snow," added Rabbit. "And I say, old fellow, you're taking up a good deal of room in my house. Do you mind if I use your back legs as a towel horse? They're doing nothing, and it would be convenient." "Oh, very well," said Pooh sadly. "What about meals?" "No meals," said Christopher Robin gently, "so that you'll get thin quicker. But we will read to you." Pooh sighed, or would have sighed if he hadn't been wedged so tightly. A small tear rolled down his cheek. Then, "Would you read a sustaining sort of book? Something suitable for a bear in great tightness?" So, for a whole week, Christopher Robin read comforting stories at Pooh's north end, while Rabbit hung washing on his south end. And in between, Pooh felt himself getting slenderer and slenderer. At last, at the end of the week, Christopher Robin said, "Now." He took hold of Pooh's front paws. Rabbit took hold of Christopher Robin, and Rabbit's friends and relations took hold of Rabbit. They all heaved together. For a long while, Pooh only said, "Ow! Oh, ow!" And then suddenly, pop, as if a cork had been pulled from a bottle. Christopher Robin and Rabbit, and all Rabbit's friends and relations, tumbled backward in a heap. And on top of them came Winnie-the-Pooh, free at last. With a grateful nod to everyone, Pooh dusted himself off and continued his walk through the forest, humming proudly once more. Christopher Robin watched him go with great affection and murmured, "Silly old bear." Chapter 3, in which Pooh and Piglet go hunting and nearly catch a Woozle. The Piglet lived in a very grand house in the middle of a beech tree, and the beech tree was in the middle of the forest, and the Piglet lived in the middle of the house. Next to his house was a piece of broken wood, which had Trespassers W on it. When Christopher Robin asked the Piglet what it meant, he said it was his grandfather's name and had been in the family for a long time. Christopher Robin said you couldn't be called Trespassers W, and Piglet said yes, you could, because his grandfather was. And it was short for Trespassers Will, which was short for Trespassers William. And his grandfather had two names in case he lost one, Trespassers after an uncle, and William after Trespassers. "I've got two names," said Christopher Robin carelessly. "Well, there you are." "That proves it," said Piglet. One fine winter's day, when Piglet was brushing away the snow in front of his house, he happened to look up. And there was Winnie-the-Pooh. Pooh was walking round and round in a circle, thinking of something else and when Piglet called to him, he just went on walking. "Hello," said Piglet. "What are you doing?" "Hunting," said Pooh. "Hunting what?" "Tracking something," said Winnie-the-Pooh, very mysteriously. "Tracking what?" said Piglet, coming close. "That's just what I ask myself. I ask myself what? What do you think you'll answer?" "I shall have to wait until I catch up with it," said Winnie-the-Pooh. "Now, look there." He pointed to the ground in front of him. "What do you see there?" "Tracks," said Piglet. "Poor marks." He gave a little squeak of excitement. "Pooh, do you think it's a woozle?" "It may be," said Pooh. "Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You never can tell with poor marks." With these few words, he went on tracking. And Piglet, after watching him for a minute or two, ran after him. Winnie-the-Pooh had come to a sudden stop and was bending over the tracks in a puzzled sort of way. "What's the matter?" asked Piglet. "It's a very funny thing," said Bear. "But there seems to be two animals now. This, whatever it was, has been joined by another, whatever it is. And the two of them are now proceeding in company. Would you mind coming with me, Piglet, in case they turn out to be hostile animals?" Piglet scratched his ear in a nice sort of way and said that he had had nothing to do until Friday and would be delighted to come in case it really was a woozle. "You mean in case it is really two woozles?" said Winnie-the-Pooh. And Piglet said that anyhow, he had nothing to do until Friday. So, off they went together. There was a spinney of large trees just here, and it seemed as if the two woozles, if that is what they were, had been going round this spinney. So, round this spinney went Pooh and Piglet after them. Piglet passed the time by telling Pooh what his grandfather, Trespassers W, had done to remove stiffness after tracking, and how his grandfather, Trespassers W, had suffered in his later years from shortness of breath and other matters of interest. And Pooh wondered what a grandfather was like, and if perhaps this was two grandfathers they were after now, and if so, whether he would be allowed to take one home and keep it, and what Christopher Robin would say. And still, the tracks went on in front of them. Suddenly, Winnie-the-Pooh stopped and pointed excitedly in front of him. "Look, what?" said Piglet with a jump. And then, to show that he hadn't been frightened, he jumped up and down once or twice more in an exercising sort of a way. "The tracks," said Pooh. "A third animal has joined the other two." "Pooh," said Piglet, "do you think it is another woozle?" "No," said Pooh, "because it makes different marks. It is either two woozles and one, as it might be, whistle, or two, as it might be whistles, and one, if so it is, Woozle. Let us continue to follow them. So they went on, feeling just a little anxious now, in case the three animals in front of them were of hostile intent. And Piglet wished very much that his grandfather, TWW, were there instead of elsewhere. And Pooh thought how nice it would be if they met Christopher Robin suddenly, but quite accidentally, and only because he liked Christopher Robin so much. And then, all of a sudden, Winnie-the-Pooh stopped again and licked the tip of his nose in a cooling manner, for he was feeling more hot and anxious than ever in his life before there were 4 animals in front of them. Do you see, Piglet? Look at their tracks. 3, as it were, Woozles, and 1, as it were, Whistle. Another Woozle has joined them, and so it seemed to be. There were the tracks crossing over each other, here getting muddled up with each other there, but quite plainly, every now and then, the tracks of 4 sets of paws. I think, said Piglet, when he had licked the tip of his nose too, and found that it brought very little comfort. I think that I have just remembered something. I have just remembered something that I forgot to do yesterday, and shan't be able to do tomorrow. So I suppose I really ought to go back and do it now. We'll do it this afternoon, and I'll come with you, said Pooh. It isn't the sort of thing you can do in the afternoon, said Piglet quickly. It's a very particular morning thing that has to be done in the morning, and if possible, between the hours of, well, what would you say the time was now? About 12, said Winnie-the-Pooh, looking at the sun. Between, as I was saying, the hours of 12 and 12:05. So really, dear old Pooh, if you'll excuse me. Piglet paused. What's that? Pooh looked up at the sky, and then, as he heard the whistle again, he looked up into the branches of a big oak tree, and then he saw a friend of his. It's Christopher Robin, he said. Ah, then you'll be all right, said Piglet. You'll be quite safe with him. Goodbye. And he trotted off home as quickly as he could, very glad to be out of all danger again. Christopher Robin came slowly down his tree. Silly old bear, he said. What were you doing? First, you went round the spinney twice by yourself, and then Piglet ran after you, and you went round again together, and then you were just going round a 4th time. Wait a moment, said Winnie-the-Pooh, holding up his paw. He sat down and thought, in the most thoughtful way he could think. Then he fitted his paw into one of the tracks, and then he scratched his nose twice and stood up. "Yes," said Winnie-the-Pooh, "I see now I've been foolish and deluded. And I'm a bear of no brain at all." "You're the best bear in all the world," said Christopher Robin soothingly. "Am I?" said Pooh hopefully. And then he brightened up suddenly. "Anyhow," he said, "it is nearly luncheon time." So he went home for it. Chapter 4, in which Eeyore loses a tail and Pooh finds one. The old gray donkey, Eeyore, was standing all alone in a prickly corner of the forest, his front feet planted wide apart, his head leaning slightly to one side, thinking about things in the slow, heavy way only Eeyore could. Sometimes he wondered sadly why, and sometimes he wondered wherefore, and sometimes he wondered inasmuch as which, and sometimes he wasn't quite certain what he was wondering at all. So when Winnie-the-Pooh came tramping softly through the trees, Eeyore felt quietly grateful to stop thinking for a while so that he could say, in his most gloomy voice, "How do you do?" "And how are you?" asked Winnie-the-Pooh. Eeyore shook his head from side to side. "Not very, how?" he replied. "I don't seem to have felt at all how for quite a long time." "Oh dear," said Pooh gently. "I'm sorry to hear that. Let's have a look at you." So Eeyore stood there, staring miserably at the ground, while Pooh walked slowly around him. Then Pooh stopped. "Why, Eeyore, where's your tail?" he exclaimed. "What has happened to it?" said Eeyore. "It isn't," said Pooh simply. "Are you sure?" "Well," said Pooh, "either a tail is there or it isn't. And yours, Eeyore, definitely isn't." "Then what is there?" asked Eeyore. "Nothing," said Pooh. "Let me see," said Eeyore, and he slowly turned around to look at the place where his tail had been not so very long ago. Then he turned the other way, trying his best to catch it if it happened to be following behind. Finally, he put his head down and looked between his front legs. At last, with a long, weary sigh, he said, "I believe you're right." "Of course I'm right," said Pooh. "That explains a good deal," said Eeyore gloomily. "It explains everything. No wonder you must have left it somewhere," said Pooh. "Or somebody must have taken it," Eeyore added darkly. "How like them," he murmured after a long pause. Pooh felt he ought to say something helpful, but nothing quite came to mind. So instead, he decided to do something helpful. "Eeyore," Pooh said solemnly, "Winnie-the-Pooh will find your tail for you." "Thank you, Pooh," said Eeyore softly. "You're a real friend, not like some." So Winnie-the-Pooh set off to find Eeyore's tail. It was a bright, gentle spring morning in the forest. Little white clouds drifted lazily through a wide blue sky, sliding playfully in front of the sun, as though they were taking turns to warm the world. The cottages of leaves and moss, snug all winter long, now looked old beside the fresh lace of new green beech leaves. Pooh padded through the copse and the spinney, across open patches of heather and gauze, over rocky stream beds, up the sandy banks, and into the heather once more. At last, hungry and a little tired, he reached the 100 Acre Wood, for that was where Owl lived. And if anyone knew anything about anything, Pooh told himself, then Owl certainly knew something about something. Or my name's not Winnie-the-Pooh, he added, which it is. So there you are. Owl lived at the Chestnuts, a dignified old home, with a door that had both a knocker and a bell pull. Below the knocker was a neat notice. Please ring if answer is required. Below the bell pull was another. Please knock if answer is not required. Christopher Robin had written both notices, for although Owl was wise in many ways, delicate words such as measles and buttered toast tended to confuse him terribly. Pooh read the notices carefully. First from left to right, then from right to left, just in case he had missed something. Then, to be quite certain, he knocked the bell and pulled the knocker. And then he pulled the bell and knocked the knocker. And finally, he called out in a clear voice, Owl, I require an answer. It's Bear speaking. The door opened at once. Hello, Pooh, said Owl. How are things? Terrible and sad, said Pooh. Eeyore, who is a friend of mine, has lost his tail and is very upset about it. Could you kindly tell me how to find it for him? Well, said Owl, the customary procedure in such cases is as follows. What does customary procedure mean? Asked Pooh. I am a bear of very little brain, and long words bother me. It means the thing to do. Oh, as long as it means that, said Pooh humbly. The thing to do, Owl continued, is first to issue a reward. Just a moment, said Pooh, lifting a paw. What do we do to this reward? You sneezed just as you were telling me. I didn't sneeze. Yes, you did. No, Pooh, I did not. You can't sneeze without knowing it, and you can't know it unless something was sneezed, Owl said. What I said was, issue a reward. You're doing it again, said Pooh sadly. A reward, Pooh? We write a notice saying we will give something large to anyone who finds Eeyore's tail. I see, said Pooh thoughtfully. Talking about large somethings, I usually have a small something around this time of morning. He looked hopefully toward Owl's cupboard. Perhaps a mouthful of condensed milk or a lick of honey. Well then, said Owl briskly, we write out the notice and put it up all over the forest. A lick of honey, Pooh murmured to himself. Or not, as the case may be. And he sighed deeply while Owl went on speaking with longer and longer words until, finally, he returned to the beginning and said that Christopher Robin must write the notice. He wrote the ones on my front door. Did you see them, Pooh? Pooh, who had been saying yes and no with his eyes closed for some time, and who had last said yes, now said, "No, not at all," without knowing what Owl meant. "You didn't see them?" Owl asked. "Come along and look." So they went outside. Pooh looked at the knocker and its notice, and then at the bell rope and its notice. The more he looked at the bell rope, the more he felt he had seen something like it somewhere, sometime before. "Handsome bell rope, isn't it?" said Owl. "It reminds me of something," Pooh murmured. "But I can't think what." "Where did you get it?" "I found it in the forest, hanging over a bush. I thought perhaps someone lived there, so I rang it. And nothing happened. I rang it again, very hard, and it came off in my hand. As nobody seemed to want it, I brought it home." "Owl," Pooh said gravely, "you've made a mistake. Somebody did want it." "Wanted it?" said Owl. "He was fond of it," said Pooh softly, "attached to it." And with those gentle words, Pooh unhooked the bell rope and carried it back to Eeyore. When Christopher Robin nailed it back in its rightful place, Eeyore pranced about the forest. Yes, pranced, waving his tail with such delight that Pooh felt a wonderful sort of warm and funny feeling inside. He hurried home for a little something to steady himself, and half an hour later, wiping honey from his mouth, he sang proudly. "Who found the tail?" "I," said Pooh, at 1:45, though really it was 11:15. "I found the tail." Chapter 5, in which Piglet meets a Heffalump. One quiet day, when Christopher Robin and Winnie-the-Pooh and Piglet were sitting together, Christopher Robin finished the bite he was chewing and said, as casually as if it were nothing at all, "I saw a Heffalump today, Piglet." "What was it doing?" asked Piglet, eyes wide. "Just lumping along," said Christopher Robin. "I don't think it noticed me." "I saw one once," said Piglet. "At least, I think I did. Unless, perhaps it wasn't." "So did I," said Pooh, though in truth he was still wondering entirely what a Heffalump looked like. "You don't see them often," Christopher Robin added lightly. "Not nowadays," said Piglet. "Not at this time of year," said Pooh. After that, they drifted into talking about other things, until the moment came for Pooh and Piglet to wander home together. For a while, they walked in companionable silence down the path that bordered the 100 Acre Wood. When they reached a little stream and helped one another over the stepping stones, they could stroll side by side again through the soft heather. Then they began chatting about this and that in the gentle, unhurried way good friends do. Piglet said, "If you see what I mean, Pooh?" And Pooh said, "It's exactly what I've been thinking myself, Piglet." And Piglet said, "But on the other hand, Pooh, we mustn't forget." And Pooh answered, "Quite true, Piglet, though I had forgotten it for the moment." Just as they came to the 6 pine trees, Pooh glanced carefully around to be sure no one else was listening, and in a solemn voice said, "Piglet, I've decided something." "What have you decided, Pooh?" "I have decided to catch a heffalump." Pooh nodded several times at this great plan and waited for Piglet to say something useful. Something like, "How?" or "Pooh, you couldn't possibly." But Piglet said nothing at all. This was because Piglet was wishing he had thought of the idea first. "I shall do it," Pooh continued, after waiting politely, "by means of a trap. And it must be a very cunning trap. So you will have to help me, Piglet." "Pooh?" said Piglet, suddenly cheerful again. "I will." Then, after a pause, "But how shall we do it?" "That's just the question," Pooh said thoughtfully. So they sat down together to think. Pooh's first idea was to dig a very deep pit, so deep that a heffalump would not see it until it was tumbling in. "Why?" asked Piglet. "Why what?" "Why would it fall in?" Pooh rubbed his nose with his paw. "Because the heffalump might be strolling along, humming a little song and looking up at the sky to wonder whether it will rain. And so he wouldn't see the deep pit until he was halfway down. Far too late." Piglet agreed this was a very good trap. "Except," he added, Suppose it is raining already." Pooh rubbed his nose again. He hadn't thought of that. But then he brightened. "If it were raining already, Piglet, then the heffalump would be looking up to see if it might stop raining. And so he still wouldn't see the pit until it was too late." Piglet said that made perfect sense, and Pooh felt quite proud. It seemed to him the heffalump was practically caught already. But then came another question. "Where," said Pooh, "shall we dig the very deep pit?" Piglet thought the best place was precisely where a heffalump would be just before falling into it, only a foot farther on. "But then he might see us digging," Pooh pointed out. "Not if he's looking at the sky," Piglet said. "He might suspect," Pooh murmured, "if he happened to look down." They thought and thought, until Pooh sighed. "It isn't as easy as I expected. I suppose that's why heffalumps hardly ever get caught." "That must be it," Piglet agreed softly. After sighing again and pulling a few prickles out of themselves, they sat down once more. Pooh kept thinking, "If only I could think of something clever." A very clever brain could catch a heffalump, if only it knew how. "Suppose," Pooh said slowly, "you wanted to catch me. How would you do it?" "Well," said Piglet. "I'd make a trap and put a jar of honey inside it, and you'd smell it, and you'd go in after it, and I would go in after it," Pooh said excitedly. "Very carefully, so as not to hurt myself. And I'd reach the jar, and I'd lick around the edges first, pretending the honey had all gone, and then I'd walk away, thinking about it, and then come back and lick the middle, and then, yes, yes, said Piglet. Never mind that bit. The point is, I'd catch you. So the first thing, said Pooh, is to think what Heffalump's like. Acorns, Piglet decided. Don't you think? We'll get lots of them. Pooh? Pooh? Pooh had drifted into a honey dream. Piglet quickly changed his mind. Honey, after all, meant Pooh must give up some of his own, and Piglet certainly didn't want to go hunting acorns himself. All right, Piglet said gently. Honey, then. At that very moment, Pooh was about to say acorns, so both felt quite satisfied. Honey, Piglet repeated thoughtfully, as if the matter was fully settled. I'll dig the pit. You fetch the honey. Very well, Pooh said, and off he stumped. At home, Pooh climbed onto a chair and reached up to the top shelf where a large jar sat. It said Hunny on the label, and it looked just like honey. But Pooh remembered something his uncle once said about cheese that looked exactly the same. So Pooh gave it a careful lick. Yes, he said, it is honey. Right to the bottom, I should say. Unless someone has put cheese down there for a joke. I'd better go further, just in case. After several thoughtful licks, he sighed. Oh yes, honey, all the way down. Feeling wonderfully certain, Pooh carried the jar back to Piglet. Piglet peered up from the deep pit. Got it? Yes, said Pooh. It isn't quite full. No, Piglet said, looking. It isn't. Is that all that's left? Yes, said Pooh, for it was. Piglet placed the jar at the bottom of the pit, climbed out, and they walked home together. Good night, Pooh, said Piglet at Pooh's door. We meet at 6 o'clock by the pine trees to see how many heffalumps we've caught. 6 o'clock, said Pooh. And have you any string? No? Why string? To lead them home with. Oh, said Pooh. Well, I think heffalumps come if you whistle. Some do, some don't. You never can tell. And they each went home. Later that night, as moonlight slipped away, Pooh woke with that sinking feeling he knew very well. He was hungry. He padded to the larder, climbed onto a chair, and found nothing on the top shelf. That's odd, he murmured. I had a full jar of honey right here. A full jar with honey written on it. very funny." He wandered back and forth, humming sleepily to himself. "It's very, very funny, because I know I had some honey, with a label saying honey." He murmured this 3 times before remembering the trap. "Bother," said Pooh. "It all comes of trying to be kind to Heffalumps." He crawled back into bed, but sleep would not come. He tried counting sheep. No good. Then counting Heffalumps. Worse. Every Heffalump he imagined was eating a pot of Pooh's honey with great satisfaction. The 587th Heffalump even smacked its lips and said, "Lovely honey, this." Pooh could bear it no longer. He jumped out of bed and hurried through the quiet wood to the pine trees. Dawn was stretching itself awake, pale light softening the sky. The pit looked deeper than ever in the half-light, and down below, Pooh's jar was only a mysterious dark shape. But Pooh's nose told him it was honey, and his tongue began preparing his mouth for a taste. "Bother," he said, as he stuck his head inside the jar. "A Heffalump has been eating. Oh no, that was me." There was only a little honey left at the very bottom, so Pooh pushed his head farther and farther in. Meanwhile, Piglet woke up. The word Heffalumps was running wild through his mind. Were they fierce? Friendly? Fond of pigs? Did it matter what sort of pig? What if it didn't like pigs at all? The questions made Piglet trembly inside. But he thought of Pooh, and that was comforting. Still, if Heffalumps were fierce with bears and pigs, perhaps a little headache might be better than going to the pine trees. Then he had a bright idea. He would go early, very quietly, look into the pit. If a Heffalump was there, he'd go home at once. If not, he wouldn't be wasting anything at all. So Piglet tiptoed through the waking wood. At first he thought the trap would be empty. Then he thought it wouldn't. Then he was certain it wouldn't. He could hear something Heffalumping about, and it sounded dreadful. "Oh dear, oh dear," Piglet whispered. But being so close now, he felt he simply must look. So he crept to the edge and peered in. Inside the pit, Pooh was desperately trying to pull the honey jar off his head. The more he wriggled, the tighter it stuck. "Bother," came Pooh's muffled voice, followed by, "Oh!" and "Ow!" He bumped into things he couldn't see and tried to climb out when he couldn't see where to climb. At last, he lifted his head, jar and all, and let out a tremendous, echoing roar of sadness and despair. And at that exact moment, Piglet looked down. "Help!" squeaked Piglet. "A Heffalump! A terrible Heffalump!" He raced away through the trees, crying, "Help! Help!" all the way to Christopher Robin's house, where Christopher Robin was just getting up. "What's the matter, Piglet?" Heffalump," Piglet gasped. "Where?" "Up there," Piglet cried, pointing. "What did it look like?" "It had the biggest head you ever saw. Enormous, like nothing. A huge, enormous nothing. Like a jar." Christopher Robin put on his shoes. "I shall go and see it. Come along, Piglet." Piglet wasn't afraid when Christopher Robin was with him, so they went together. "I can hear it, can't you?" Piglet whispered. "I can hear something," said Christopher Robin. It was Pooh, bumping his jar-covered head against a tree root. "There!" Piglet cried. "Isn't it dreadful?" Christopher Robin suddenly burst into laughter. He laughed and laughed right up to the moment when, crash, went the jar against the tree root. Smash! And out popped Pooh's head in a shower of broken, honey-scented bits. Piglet realized then what a very silly piglet he had been. Too embarrassed to say anything at all, he ran home and went to bed with a small headache. But Christopher Robin and Pooh walked home together for breakfast. "Oh, Bear," said Christopher Robin lovingly, "how I do love you." "So do I," said Pooh. Chapter 6, in which Eeyore has a birthday and gets 2 presents. Eeyore, the old gray donkey, stood by the edge of the stream and peered down at his reflection in the water. "Pathetic," he murmured. "That's what it is. Pathetic." He turned, trudged 20 slow yards along the bank, splashed across to the other side, and came back just as slowly, then leaned over the stream again. "As I thought," he sighed. "No better from this angle, but nobody minds, nobody cares. Pathetic, that's what it is." Just then, there came a soft crackling in the bracken behind him, and Pooh emerged. "Good morning, Eeyore," said Pooh. "Good morning, Pooh Bear," Eeyore answered gloomily. "If it is a good morning, which I doubt." "Why, what's wrong?" asked Pooh. "Nothing, Pooh Bear. Nothing. We can't all, and some of us don't. That's all there is to it." "Can't all what?" said Pooh, rubbing his nose. "Cheerfulness, song and dance. Here we go round the mulberry bush, that sort of thing." "Oh," said Pooh. He thought for a long moment, then asked, "What mulberry bush is that?" "Bonhomie," Eeyore continued, still gloomy. "French word, meaning bonhomie." "I'm not complaining, merely remarking." Pooh sat down on a large stone and tried to puzzle this out. It sounded a bit like a riddle, and Pooh, being a bear of very little brain, had never been especially good with riddles. So instead, he softly began to sing, Coddleston, Coddleston, Coddleston pie. A fly can't bird, but a bird can fly. Ask me a riddle, and I reply, Coddleston, Coddleston, Coddleston pie. That was the first verse. When he'd finished, Eeyore didn't say he disliked it, so Pooh very kindly offered the second verse. Coddleston, Coddleston, Coddleston pie. A fish can't whistle, and neither can I. Ask me a riddle, and I reply, Coddleston, Coddleston, Coddleston pie. Eeyore still said nothing, so Pooh hummed the third verse quietly to himself. Coddleston, Coddleston, Coddleston pie. Why does a chicken? I don't know why. Ask me a riddle, and I reply, Coddleston, Coddleston, Coddleston pie. That's right, Eeyore muttered. Sing, umpty tiddly umpty too. Here we go, gathering nuts in May. Enjoy yourself. I am, said Pooh. Some can, Eeyore replied. Why, what's the matter? Asked Pooh. You seem so sad, Eeyore. Sad? Why should I be sad? It's my birthday, the happiest day of the year. Your birthday? Said Pooh in great surprise. Of course. Can't you tell? Look at the presents I've had. He wiggled one hoof. Look at the birthday cake, candles, and pink sugar. Pooh looked right, then left. Presents? He said. Birthday cake? Where? Can't you see them? No, said Pooh. Neither can I, said Eeyore. It's just a joke. Ha ha. Pooh scratched his head, puzzled. But it really is your birthday? It is. Oh, well, many happy returns of the day, Eeyore. And many happy returns to you, Pooh Bear. But it isn't my birthday. No, it's mine. But you said many happy returns. Why not? You don't want to be miserable on my birthday, do you? Oh, I see, said Pooh. It's bad enough, said Eeyore, nearly breaking down. Being miserable myself, with no presents and no cake and no candles and nobody taking proper notice of me at all. But if everyone else is going to be miserable too, this was too much for Pooh. Stay right here, he called, and hurried off home as fast as he could, for he knew he must find a present for poor Eeyore at once. A proper present could come later. Outside his house, he found Piglet jumping up and down, trying to reach the knocker. Hello, Piglet, said Pooh. Hello, Pooh, said Piglet. What are you doing? Trying to knock, said Piglet. I came over. Let me, Pooh said kindly, reaching up and knocking on his own door. I've just seen Eeyore, he began, and he's terribly sad because it's his birthday, and nobody's noticed. And, oh dear, whoever lives here is taking such a long time to answer. Pooh, Piglet said gently, It's your house." "Oh," said Pooh. "So it is. Well, let's go in." Inside, Pooh went straight to the cupboard to see if he had a very small jar of honey left. He did. "I'm giving this to Eeyore," he explained, "as a birthday present." "What will you give?" "Couldn't I give the honey too, from both of us?" "No," said Pooh. "That wouldn't be a good plan." "All right," said Piglet. "I'll give him a balloon. I have one left from my party. I'll get it now." "Piglet, that's a very good idea. Nobody can be uncheered with a balloon." So Piglet trotted off one way, and Pooh set out the other with his jar of honey. It was a warm day and a long walk. Halfway along, a warm, familiar feeling began creeping from the tip of his nose to the soles of his feet. "Time for a little something," said the feeling. "Dear, dear," said Pooh. "I didn't know it was as late as that." So he sat down, opened the jar, and began to eat. "Lucky I brought this," he thought. "Many a bear would forget on a warm day like this." When he'd licked out the last bit, he stood up and suddenly remembered he had eaten Eeyore's birthday present. "Oh, bother," he said. "I must give him something." He thought and thought. "Well, it's a nice pot," he said at last. "Even without honey, if I wash it clean and get someone to write happy birthday on it, Eeyore could keep things in it." So he stopped by Owl's house in the 100 Acre Wood. "Good morning, Owl." "Good morning, Pooh." "Many happy returns of Eeyore's birthday," said Pooh. "Oh, is that today?" said Owl. "I'm giving him a useful pot," said Pooh. "Ah, this one?" Owl said, taking it. "Someone has been keeping honey in it." "You can keep anything in it," said Pooh earnestly. "Very useful, and I wanted to ask, could you write happy birthday on it? My spelling is good, but it wobbles." Owl looked all around the pot. "It's a nice pot. Couldn't I give it to, from both of us?" "No," said Pooh. "Not a good plan." Pooh washed it while Owl licked his pencil and wondered how to spell birthday. "Can you read, Pooh?" Owl asked anxiously. "A little," Pooh said. "Christopher Robin told me what the notice on your door said, and then I could read it." "Well," said Owl, "I'll tell you what this says, and then you'll be able to." And he wrote, "Hippy-pappy, bethuth-thuthda bethuthdi." Pooh stared in admiration. "It says, 'A very happy birthday with love from Pooh, of course,'" Owl added casually. "It takes a lot of pencil to say such a long thing." "Oh, I see," said Pooh, impressed. Meanwhile, Piglet had fetched his balloon and was hurrying through the forest. He held it tight so it wouldn't blow away and ran as fast as he could, hoping to reach Eeyore before Pooh. He was so busy imagining Eeyore's delight that he didn't watch his feet and fell straight into a rabbit hole. The world gave a tremendous bang. Piglet lay there, dazed. Had the world blown up? Or just the forest? Or perhaps he had, and was now on the moon. But even on the moon, one needn't lie face down forever. So he got up slowly. "Oh," he said softly. "Still in the forest? That's funny. What was that bang?" He looked around. "Where's my balloon? And what's this little piece of damp rag?" It was the balloon. "Oh dear," said Piglet. "Dear, oh dearie dear." He trotted sadly on until he came to the stream where Eeyore still stood. "Good morning, Eeyore," said Piglet. "Good morning, little Piglet," said Eeyore. "If it is a good morning, which I doubt." "Many happy returns of the day," Piglet said bravely. "Just say that again," Eeyore said. Piglet repeated it. "Wait a moment." Eeyore tried to lift his hoof to his ear, lost his balance, fell, tried again, and finally managed. "There. Now then. What were you saying?" "Many happy returns," said Piglet, "and I've brought you a present." "A present," Eeyore repeated solemnly. "Yes, Eeyore. A balloon." "A balloon? Yes, but I fell, and I burst it." There was a long silence. "My balloon," Eeyore said at last. Piglet nodded. "My birthday balloon." Piglet nodded again and held out the little damp scrap. "Here it is, with many happy returns." "This?" said Eeyore, surprised. Piglet nodded. "Red," he added softly. "My favorite color," Eeyore murmured. "And how big was it?" "As big as me," said Piglet. "My favorite size," said Eeyore sadly. Piglet didn't know what to say. Just then, Pooh's voice floated across the water. "Many happy returns of the day." "Thank you, Pooh," Eeyore called back gloomily. "I'm having them." Pooh splashed across the stream. "I brought you a little present," he said. "I've had it," Eeyore replied. "It's a useful pot," said Pooh, showing it proudly, "with a very happy birthday written on it, for putting things in." Eeyore stared, then became oddly excited. Why, I believe my balloon will just fit into that pot." "Oh no, Eeyore," said Pooh. "Balloons are too big for pots." "Not mine," Eeyore said, lifting the tiny scrap and placing it carefully inside, then taking it out, then putting it back. "So it does," said Pooh. "So it does," said Piglet. And it comes out, too," said Eeyore proudly. Pooh beamed. "I'm glad I thought of giving you a useful pot." "And I'm glad," said Piglet, "that I thought of something to put in it." But Eeyore wasn't listening. He was too busy taking the balloon out and putting it back again, perfectly content. "And didn't I get him anything?" asked Christopher Robin, later a little sadly. "Of course you did," Pooh said. "You gave him a little something with paints." "A box of paints?" said Christopher Robin. "Why didn't I give it to him this morning?" "You were busy getting his party ready," Pooh reminded him. "There was a cake with icing and 3 candles, and his name in pink sugar." "Yes," Christopher Robin smiled softly. "I remember." Chapter 7, in which Kanga and Baby Roo come to the forest, and Piglet has a bear. Nobody seemed to know where they came from, but there they were, in the forest, Kanga and Baby Roo. When Pooh asked Christopher Robin, "How did they come here?" Christopher Robin said, in the usual way, "If you know what I mean, Pooh." And Pooh, who didn't, said, "Oh," then nodded his head twice and said, "In the usual way." Then he went to call upon his friend Piglet to see what he thought about it. And at Piglet's house, he found Rabbit, so they all talked about it together. "What I don't like about it is this," said Rabbit. "Here are we, you, Pooh, and you, Piglet, and me, and Eeyore," said Pooh. "And Eeyore, and Owl," said Pooh. "And Owl, oh, and Eeyore," said Pooh. "I was forgetting him." "Here we are," said Rabbit, very slowly and carefully. "All of us." And then, suddenly, we wake up one morning, and what do we find? We find a strange animal among us, an animal whom we have never even heard before, an animal who carries her family about with her in her pocket. Suppose I carried my family about with me in my pocket. How many pockets should I want? 16, said Piglet. 17, isn't it? Said Rabbit. And one more for a handkerchief. That's 18. 18 pockets in one suit. Haven't time. There was a long and thoughtful silence, and then Pooh, who had been frowning very hard for some minutes, said, "I make it 15, said Rabbit. 15, said Pooh. 15 what? Your family, Pooh replied. What about them? Asked Rabbit. Pooh rubbed his nose and said that he thought Rabbit had been talking about his family. Did I? Said Rabbit carelessly. Never mind, Pooh, said Piglet impatiently. Question is, what are we going to do about Kanga? Said Rabbit. Oh, I see, said Pooh. "The best way," said Rabbit, "would be this. The best way would be to steal Baby Roo and hide him. And then, when Kanga says, 'Where's Baby Roo?' we say, 'Aha, aha,'" said Pooh, practicing. "Of course," he went on, "we could say, 'Aha,' even if we hadn't stolen Baby Roo." "Pooh," said Rabbit kindly, "you haven't any brain, I know," said Pooh humbly. "We say, 'Aha,' so that Kanga knows that we know where Baby Roo is. Aha means we'll tell you where Baby Roo is if you promise to go away from the forest and never come back. Now don't talk while I think." Pooh went into a corner and tried saying "aha" in that sort of voice. Sometimes it seemed to him that it did mean what Rabbit said, and sometimes it seemed to him that it didn't. "I suppose it's just practice," he thought. "I wonder if Kanga will have to practice too, so as to understand it." "There's just one thing," said Piglet, fidgeting a bit. He was talking to Christopher Robin, and he said that Kanga was generally regarded as one of the fiercer animals. I'm not frightened of fierce animals in the ordinary way, but it is well known that if one of the fiercer animals is deprived of its young, it becomes as fierce as two of the fiercer animals, in which case our heart is perhaps a foolish thing to say. "Piglet," said Rabbit, taking out a pencil and licking the end of it, "you haven't any pluck." "It's hard to be brave," said Piglet, sniffing slightly, "when you're only a very small animal." Rabbit, who had begun to write very busily, looked up and said, "It is because you are a very small animal that you will be useful in the adventure before us." Piglet was so excited at the idea of being useful that he forgot to be frightened anymore. And when Rabbit went on to say that Kangas were only fierce during the winter months, being at other times of an affectionate disposition, he could hardly sit still. He was so eager to begin being useful at once. "What about me?" said Pooh sadly. "I suppose I shan't be useful." "Never mind Pooh," said Piglet comfortingly. "Another time, perhaps." "Without Pooh," said Rabbit solemnly as he sharpened his pencil. "This adventure would be impossible." "Oh," said Piglet and tried not to. Disappointed. But Pooh went into a corner of the room and said proudly to himself, "Impossible without me, that sort of bear." "Now listen, all of you," said Rabbit when he had finished writing. And Pooh and Piglet sat, listening very eagerly, with their mouths open. This was what Rabbit read out. "Plan to capture Baby Roo. Number 1. General remarks. Kanga runs faster than any of us, even me. Number 2, more general remarks. Kanga never takes her eye off Baby Roo, except when he's safely buttoned up in her pocket. Number 3, therefore, if we are to capture Baby Roo, we must get a long start, because Kanga runs faster than any of us, even me. See? Number 1. Number 4, a thought. If Roo had jumped out of Kanga's pocket and Piglet had jumped in, Kanga wouldn't know the difference, because Piglet is a very small animal. Number 5, like Roo. Number 6, but Kanga would have to be looking the other way first, so as to not see Piglet jumping in. Number 7, see Number 2. Number 8, another thought. But if Pooh was talking, her very excitedly, she might look the other way for a moment. Number 9, and then I could run away with Roo. Number 10, quickly. Number 11, and Kanga wouldn't discover the difference until afterwards. Well, Rabbit read this out proudly, and for a little while after he had read it, nobody said anything. And then Piglet, who had been opening and shutting his mouth without making any noise, managed to say very huskily, "And afterwards?" "How do you mean?" said Rabbit. "When Kanga does discover the difference, then we all say, 'Aha!'" "All 3 of us?" asked Piglet. "Yes," said Rabbit. "Oh, why?" "What is the trouble, Piglet?" "Nothing," said Piglet. "As long as we all 3 say it, as long as we all 3 say it, I don't mind. But I shouldn't care to say, huh? By myself. Couldn't sound nearly so well. By the way, you were quite sure about what you said about the winter months?" "Winter months?" asked Rabbit. "Yes, only being fierce in the winter months." "Oh, yes, that's all right." "Well, Pooh, you see what you have to do?" "No," said Pooh Bear. "Not yet." "What do I do?" "Well, you just have to talk very hard to Kanga, so she doesn't notice anything." "Oh, what about anything you like?" "You mean like telling her a little bit of poetry or something?" "That's it," said Rabbit. "Splendid. Now, come along." So they all went out to look for Kanga. Kanga and Roo were spending a quiet afternoon in a sandy part of the forest. Baby Roo was practicing very small jumps in the sand and falling down mouse holes and climbing out of them. And Kanga was fidgeting about and saying, "Just one more jump, dear. And then we must go home." And at that moment, Pooh should come, stumping up the hill. "But Pooh, good afternoon, Kanga." "Good afternoon, Pooh." "I mean, jumping," squeaked Roo, and fell into another mouse hole. "Hello, Roo, my little fellow." "We were just going home," said Kanga. "Good afternoon, Rabbit. Good afternoon, Piglet," Rabbit and Piglet, who had now come up from the other side of the hill, said, "Good afternoon," and "Hello, Roo," and Roo asked them to look at him, jumping. So they stayed and looked. And Kanga looked too. "Oh, Kanga," said Pooh, after Rabbit had winked at him twice. "I don't know if you were interested in poetry at all." "Hardly at all," said Kanga. "Oh?" said Pooh. "Roo, dear, just one more jump, and then we must go home." There was a short silence while Roo fell down another mouse hole, said Rabbit in a loud whisper behind his paw. "Talking of poetry," said Pooh, "I made up a little piece as I was coming along. It went like this. Now, let me see." "Fancy," said Kanga. "Now, Roo, dear, you'll like this piece of poetry," said Rabbit. "You'll love it," said Piglet. "You must listen very carefully," said Rabbit. "So as not to miss any of it," said Piglet. "Oh, yes," said Kanga, but she still looked at Baby Roo. "How did it go, Pooh?" said Rabbit. Pooh began, lines written by a bear of very little brain. "On Monday, when the sun is hot, I wonder to myself a lot. Now is it true, or is it not, that what is which and which is what? On Tuesday, when it hails and snows, the feeling on me grows, and grows, that hardly anybody knows if those are these, or these are those, on Wednesday, when the sky is blue, and I have nothing else to do. I sometimes wonder if it's true, that who is what, and what is who, on Thursday, when it starts to freeze, and hoar frost twinkles on the trees. How very readily one sees that those are whose, but whose are these? On Friday. Yes, it is, isn't it? Said Kanga, not waiting to hear what happened on Friday. Just one more jump, Roo dear. And then we really must be going, said Kanga. Rabbit gave Pooh a hurrying up sort of nudge. Talking of poetry, said Pooh. Have you ever noticed that tree right over there? Where? Said Kanga. Right over there, said Pooh, pointing behind Kanga's back. No, said Kanga. Now jump in, Roo dear, and we'll go home. You ought to look at that tree right over there, said Rabbit. Shall I lift you in, Roo? And he picked up Roo in his paws. I can see a bird in it from here, said Pooh. Or is it a fish? You ought to see that bird from here, said Rabbit. Unless it's a fish. It isn't a fish. It's a bird, said Piglet. So it is, said Rabbit. Is it a starling or a blackbird? Said Pooh. That's the whole question, said Rabbit. Is it a blackbird or a starling? And then, at last, Kanga did turn her head to look. And the moment that her head was turned, Rabbit said, "In you go, Roo." And he jumped Piglet into Kanga's pocket, and off scampered Rabbit, with Roo in his paws as fast as he could. "Why, where's Rabbit?" said Kanga, turning round again. "Are you all right, Roo dear?" Piglet made a squeaky Roo noise from the bottom of Kanga's pocket. "Rabbit had to go away," said Pooh. "I think he thought of something he had to go and see about suddenly." "And Piglet?" "I think Piglet thought of something at the same time, suddenly." "Well, we must be getting home," said Kanga. "Goodbye, Pooh." And in 3 large jumps, she was gone. Pooh looked after her as she went. "I wish I could jump like that," he thought. "Some can, and some can't. That's how it is." But there were moments when Piglet wished that Kanga couldn't. Often when he had had a long walk home through the forest, he had wished that he were a bird. But now he thought, jerkily to himself, at the bottom of Kanga's pocket, "If this flying, I shall really never take to it." And as he went up in the air, he said, and as he came down, he said, and he was saying, all the way to Kanga's house. Of course, as soon as Kanga unbuttoned her pocket, she saw what had happened. Just for a moment, she thought she was frightened. And then she knew she wasn't, for she felt quite sure that Christopher Robin would never let any harm happen to Roo. So she said to herself, "If they're having a joke with me, I will have a joke with them. Now then, Roo dear," she said as she took Piglet out of her pocket. "Bedtime, aha," said Piglet, as well as he could after his terrifying journey. But it wasn't a very good aha, and Kanga didn't seem to understand what it meant. "Bath first," said Kanga in a cheerful voice, said Piglet again, looking ground anxiously for the others. The others weren't there. Rabbit was playing with baby Roo in his own house and feeling more fond of him every minute. And Pooh, who had decided to be a Kanga, was still at the sandy place on top of the forest, practicing jumps. "I'm not at all sure," said Kanga in a thoughtful voice, "that it wouldn't be a good idea to have a cold bath this evening. Would you like that, Roo dear?" Piglet, who had never been really fond of baths, shuddered a long, indignant shudder, and said in as brave a voice as he could, "Kanga, I see that the time has come to speak plainly." "Funny little Roo," said Kanga, as she got the bath water ready. "I am not Roo," said Piglet. "I am Piglet." "Yes, dear, yes," said Kanga soothingly, and imitating Piglet's voice too. "So clever of him," she went on, as she took a large bar of yellow soap out of the cupboard. "What will he be doing next?" "Can't you see?" said Piglet. "Haven't you got eyes? Look at me." "I am looking, Gru, dear," said Kanga. "And you know what I told you yesterday about making faces? If you go on making faces like piglets, you will up to look like Piglet, and then think how sorry you will be. Now then, into the bath, and don't let me have to speak to you about it again." Before he knew where he was, Piglet was in the bath, and Kanga was scrubbing him firmly with a large, leathery flannel. Said Piglet, "Let me out. I'm Piglet." "Don't open the mouth, dear, or soap goes in," said Kanga. "There, what did I tell you?" "You did it on purpose," spluttered Piglet as soon as he could speak again, and then accidentally had another mouthful of lathery flannel. "That's right, dear. Don't say anything," said Kanga. And in another minute, Piglet was out of the bath and being rubbed dry with a towel. "Now," said Kanga, "there's your medicine, and then bed." "What medicine?" said Piglet. "To make you grow big and strong, dear. You don't want to grow up small and weak like Piglet, do you?" Well then, at that moment, there was a knock on the door. "Come in," said Kanga, and in came Christopher Robin. "Christopher Robin, Christopher Robin," said Piglet. "Tell Kanga who I am. She keeps saying I'm Roo. I'm not Roo, am I?" Christopher Robin looked at him very carefully and shook his head. "You can't be Roo," he said, "because I've just seen Roo playing at Rabbit's house." "Well," said Kanga, "fancy my making a mistake like that." "You are?" said Piglet. "I told you so. I'm Piglet." Christopher Robin shook his head. "Oh, you're not Piglet?" he said. "I know Piglet well, and he's quite a different color." Piglet began to say that this was because he had just had a bath, and then he thought that perhaps he wouldn't say that. And as he opened his mouth to say something else, Kanga slipped the medicine spoon into it, and then patted him on the back and told him that it was really quite a nice taste when you got used to it. "I knew it wasn't Piglet," said Kanga. "I wonder who it can be. Perhaps it's some relation of Pooh's," said Christopher Robin. "What about a nephew or uncle or something?" Kanga agreed that this was probably what it was, and said that they would have to call it by some name. "I shall call it Poodle," said Christopher Robin. "Henry Poodle for short." And just when it was decided, Henry Poodle wriggled out of Kanga's arms and jumped to the ground. To his great joy, Christopher Robin had left the door open Never had Henry Poodle Piglet run so fast as he ran then. And he didn't stop running until he had got quite close to his house. But when it was 100 yards away, he stopped running and rolled the rest of the way home so as to get his own nice, comfortable color again. So Kanga and Roo stayed in the forest. And every Tuesday, Roo spent the day with his great friend Rabbit. And every Tuesday, Kanga spent the day with her great friend Pooh, teaching him to jump. And every Tuesday, Piglet spent the day with his great friend Christopher Robin. So they were all happy again. Chapter 8, in which Christopher Robin leads an expedition to the North Pole. One bright and gentle day, Pooh had stumped his way up toward the very top of the forest to see whether Christopher Robin might be feeling interested in bears, or at least in one particular bear at all. Earlier that morning, he had enjoyed a simple breakfast, marmalade spread lightly across a honeycomb or two, just enough to make his whiskers sticky. And as he ate, a little tune had wandered into his mind. It began like this: "Sing ho for the life of a bear." He got as far as that before stopping to scratch his head thoughtfully. "A very good beginning," he murmured to himself. But what about the second line? He sang the first line 2 or 3 times, but it didn't seem to push the second line forward. Perhaps, he thought, it ought to be "Sing high for the life of a bear." So he tried that, but it felt no better. "Well then," Pooh decided, "I shall simply sing the first line twice, and if I sing it quickly enough, perhaps the third and fourth lines will come along before I've time to worry about them. And then it will certainly be a good song." So he began again. "Sing ho for the life of a bear. Sing ho for the life of a bear." And suddenly, quite without planning it, lines 3 and 4 arrived. "I don't much mind if it rains or snows, for I've got lots of honey upon my nose. I don't much care if it thaws or pours, for I've sticky sweet honey on my clean soft paws. Sing ho for a bear, sing ho for a Pooh, and I'll have a little something in an hour or 2. He was so pleased with this discovery that he sang the whole tune all the way to the top of the forest. But halfway up, he thought, if I keep singing much longer, it will indeed be time for a little something, and then the last line won't be true. So he turned the song thoughtfully into a hum. Christopher Robin sat outside his door, putting on his big boots. And as soon as Pooh saw those boots, he knew, absolutely knew, that an adventure was about to happen. He quickly brushed the honey from his nose with the back of his paw and smartened himself up so that he would look ready for anything. "Good morning, Christopher Robin," he called. "Hello, Pooh Bear," said Christopher Robin. "I can't seem to get this boot on." "That's bad," said Pooh. "Do you think you could very kindly lean against me? Every time I pull, I fall backwards." Pooh sat down firmly, dug his feet into the ground, leaned into Christopher Robin, and pushed. Christopher Robin pushed back and pulled the boot until it was finally on. "And that's that," said Pooh. "What do we do next?" "We are all going on an expedition," Christopher Robin replied, brushing himself off. "Thank you, Pooh." "Going on an expedition?" Pooh said eagerly. "I don't think I've ever been on one. Where are we going?" "Expedition, silly old bear. It has an X in it." "Oh?" said Pooh. "I know." Though he didn't really. "We're going to discover the North Pole." "Oh?" Pooh said again. "What is the North Pole?" "It's just a thing you discover," said Christopher Robin, as if that explained everything. "I see," said Pooh. "Are bears good at discovering it?" "Of course they are, and rabbits and kangas and everyone. That's what an expedition means, everyone in a long line. Go tell the others to get ready, and we must all bring provisions." "Bring what?" asked Pooh. "Things to eat," said Christopher Robin. "Oh," Pooh said happily. "I thought you said provisions." And off he stumped. The first person he met was Rabbit. "Hello, Rabbit," Pooh said. "Is that you?" "Let's pretend it isn't," Rabbit said, "and see what happens." "I've got a message for you," said Pooh. "I'll give it to him," said Rabbit. "We're all going on an expedition with Christopher Robin," Pooh explained. "What sort? Water or land?" "A sort of boat, I think," said Pooh uncertainly. "Oh, that sort," said Rabbit. "Yes, and we're going to discover a pole, or maybe a mole. I forget. But we're definitely discovering something, and we must bring food." "I see," said Rabbit. "I'm going down to Piglet's. Tell Kanga, will you?" Pooh hurried away. Piglet was sitting on the ground outside his house, blowing gently on a dandelion and wondering whether it would be this year, next year, sometime, or never. He had just discovered it would be never, and was trying to remember what it was when Pooh arrived. "Oh, Piglet," Pooh said excitedly. "We're going on an expedition, all of us, with food, to discover something." "Discover what?" Piglet asked anxiously. "Oh, just something. Nothing fierce. Christopher Robin only said it had an X." "It isn't X I mind," Piglet said earnestly. "It's their teeth." But since Christopher Robin was coming, Piglet felt much braver. Soon everyone had gathered at the top of the forest, and the expedition began. Christopher Robin and Rabbit led the line. Piglet and Pooh followed, then Kanga, with Roo poking out of her pocket, then Owl, then Eeyore, and finally all of Rabbit's friends and relations in a long, wobbling cluster. "I didn't ask them," Rabbit explained. "They always come. They can march behind Eeyore." "What I say," Eeyore muttered, "is that it's unsettling. I didn't mean to come, you know. I only came to oblige. But if I'm at the end of the whatever it is, then let me be at the end. Yet, if I must brush away half a dozen rabbits every time I sit down, then this isn't an expedition at all. It's just a confused noise." Owl tried to explain. Eeyore cut him off. They bickered, and the line rippled with complaints all the way down to the smallest rabbit of all. Suddenly, Christopher Robin called, "Come on! Come on!" echoed Pooh and Piglet. "Come on!" hooted Owl. And they all hurried forward. Meanwhile, Pooh was busy composing another song. "This is the first verse," he told Piglet proudly, and he sang it while they walked. They all went off to discover the pole, Owl and Piglet and Rabbit and all. It's a thing you discover, as I've been told, by Owl and Piglet and Rabbit and all. Eeyore, Christopher Robin, and Pooh, and Rabbit's relations, who came along too. And where the pole was, nobody knew. Sing hey for Owl and Rabbit and all. "Hush," Christopher Robin whispered suddenly. "Hush," said Pooh to Piglet. "Hush," said Piglet to Kanga. "Hush," said Kanga to Owl. "Hush," said Owl to Eeyore. "Hush," said Eeyore to all the rabbit relations. And so it passed all the way down the line until the very smallest friend and relation felt so terribly hushed that he buried his head in a crack in the earth and stayed there for 2 days. His name was Alexander Beetle. They had reached a twisting stream between steep, rocky banks. "This," Christopher Robin said, "is just the sort of place for an ambush." "What sort of bush?" whispered Pooh. "A gorse bush?" Owl sighed importantly and explained. Piglet repeated the explanation privately to Pooh. Pooh thought about gorse bushes again. Owl frowned. Everyone inched very carefully along the rocks beside the tumbling water. Then Christopher Robin called, "Halt!" They all sat on the grassy banks to rest. "I think," he said, "we'd better eat all our provisions so we won't have to carry them." "Eat all our what?" asked Pooh. "All the food," Piglet explained, already nibbling. Pooh immediately approved. "Has everyone something to eat?" asked Christopher Robin. "All except me," said Eeyore gloomily. "As usual." Pooh discovered he had been sitting on a thistle. Eeyore thanked him for freeing it and settled down upon it himself. A little thought for others, Eeyore lectured as he chewed. That's what makes the difference. After lunch, Christopher Robin whispered privately to Rabbit about the North Pole. But as it turned out, neither of them quite remembered what it looked like, though they were almost sure it was a pole stuck in the ground. Because if not in the ground, Rabbit reasoned, where else could one stick it? When they returned, Piglet was dozing, Roo was washing his paws, Owl was lecturing, and Kanga was not listening. Eeyore muttered about modern washing. Then came a squeak, a splash, and Kanga cried out. Roo had fallen into the water. Down he went, pool to pool, squeaking with delight about his swimming. Everyone rushed about, Piglet hopping nervously, Owl giving advice, Eeyore dangling his tail in the water, grumbling, but helpful. "Get something across the stream," shouted Rabbit. Pooh was already doing just that. He stood 2 pools below, holding a long pole across the water. Kanga grabbed the other end, and Roo drifted into it and scrambled safely out. "Did you see me swimming?" Roo squeaked at everyone. "That was swimming!" Christopher Robin wasn't listening. He was staring at Pooh. "Pooh," he said solemnly, "where did you find that pole?" Pooh looked down at it. "I just found it," he said. "Thought it might be useful." "Pooh," said Christopher Robin, "the expedition is over. You have found the North Pole." "Oh," said Pooh softly. They returned to Eeyore, whose tail was numb from the cold water. Everyone fussed over him. Christopher Robin rubbed the tail warm again. Eeyore felt it becoming more tail-like. When Pooh and Christopher Robin together confirmed that the pole was indeed the North Pole, Eeyore said, "Oh, well, at least it didn't rain." Christopher Robin stuck the pole in the ground and tied on a message. "North Pole, discovered by Pooh. Pooh found it." And then they all wandered home. Roo, perhaps, had a warm bath and went straight to bed. Pooh returned to his little house in the forest, feeling wonderfully proud, and had a little something just to revive himself before drifting into a soft, peaceful nap. Chapter 9, in which Piglet is entirely surrounded by water. It rained, and it rained, and it rained. Piglet told himself that never in all his life, and he was 3, was it, or 4, never had he seen so much rain. Days and days and days. If only, he thought, as he looked out of the window, I had been in Pooh's house, Christopher Robin's house, or Rabbit's house when it began to rain. Then I should have had company all this time instead of being here, alone, with nothing to do except wonder when it will stop. and he imagined himself with Pooh, saying, "Did you ever see such rain, Pooh?" And Pooh saying, "Isn't it awful, Piglet?" And Piglet saying, "I wonder how it is over at Christopher Robin's way." And Pooh saying, "I should think poor old Rabbit is about flooded out by this time. It would have been jolly to talk like this. And really, it wasn't much good having anything exciting like floods if you couldn't share them with somebody, for it was rather exciting. The little dry ditches in which Piglet had nosed about so often had become streams. The little streams across which he had splashed were rivers, and the river, between whose steep banks they had played so happily, sprawled out of its own bed, and was taking up so much room everywhere that Piglet was beginning to wonder whether it would be coming into his bed soon. "It's a little anxious," he said to himself, "to be a very small animal, entirely surrounded by water. Christopher Robin and Pooh could escape by climbing trees, and Kanga could escape by jumping, and Rabbit could escape by burrowing, and Owl could escape by flying, and Eeyore could escape by making a loud noise until rescued. And here I am, surrounded by water, and I can't do anything." It went on raining, and every day the water got a little higher, until now it was nearly up to Piglet's window, and he still hadn't done anything. "There's Pooh," he thought to himself. "Pooh hasn't much brain, but he never comes to any harm. He does silly things, and they turn out all right. There's Owl. Owl hasn't exactly got brain, but he knows things. He would know the right thing to do when surrounded by water. There's Rabbit. He hasn't learnt in books, but he can always think of a clever plan. There's Kanga. She isn't clever, but she would be so anxious about Roo that she would do a good thing to do without thinking about it. Then there's Eeyore, and Eeyore is so miserable anyhow that he wouldn't mind about this. But I wonder what Christopher Robin would do." Then, suddenly, he remembered a story which Christopher Robin had told him about a man on a desert island who had written something in a bottle and thrown it in the sea. And Piglet thought that if he wrote something in a bottle and threw it in the water, perhaps somebody would come and rescue him. He left the window and began to search his house, all of it that wasn't underwater, and at last he found a pencil and a small piece of dry paper and a bottle with a cork to it. And he wrote on one side of the paper, "Help, Piglet, brackets, boom," and on the other side, "It's me, Piglet. Help, help." Then he put the paper in the bottle, and he corked the bottle up as tightly as he could, and he leant out of his window as far as he could, without falling in, and he threw the bottle as far as he could throw. Splash! and in a little while it bobbed up again on the water, and he watched it floating slowly away in the distance until his eyes ached with looking, and sometimes he thought it was the bottle. Sometimes he thought it was just a ripple on the water which he was following, and then suddenly he knew that he would never see it again, and that he had done all that he could do to save himself. So now, he thought, somebody else will have to do something, and I hope they will do it soon, because if they don't, I shall have to swim, which I can't. So I hope they do it soon. And then he gave a very long sigh and said, I wish Pooh were here. It's so much more friendly with two. When the rain began, Pooh was asleep. It rained, and it rained, and it rained, and he slept, and he slept, and he slept. He had had a tiring day. You remember how he discovered the North Pole? Well, he was so proud of this that he asked Christopher Robin if there were any other poles, such as a bear of little brain might discover. There's a South Pole, said Christopher Robin, and I expect there's an East Pole and a West Pole, though people don't like talking about them. Pooh was very excited when he heard this and suggested that they should have an expedition to discover the East Pole. But Christopher Robin had thought of something else to do with Kanga. So Pooh went out to discover the East Pole by himself. Whether he discovered it or not, I forget. But he was so tired when he got home that in the very middle of his supper, after he had been eating for a little more than half an hour, he fell fast asleep in his chair and slept and slept and slept. Then, suddenly, he was dreaming he was at the East Pole, and it was a very cold pole, with the coldest sort of snow and ice all over it. He had found a beehive to sleep in. There wasn't any room for his legs, so he had left them outside, and wild woozles, such as inhabit the East Pole, came and nibbled all the fur off his legs to make nests for their young. And the more they nibbled, the colder his legs got, until suddenly he woke up with an owl, and there he was, sitting in his chair, with his feet in the water, and water all round him. He splashed to his door and looked down. "This is serious," said Pooh. "I must have an escape." So he took his largest pot of honey and escaped with it to a broad branch of his tree, well above the water. And then he climbed down again and escaped with another pot. And when the whole escape was finished, there was Pooh sitting on his branch, dangling his legs, and there beside him were 10 pots of honey. 2 days later, there was Pooh sitting on his branch, dangling his legs, and there beside him were 4 pots of honey. 3 days later, there was Pooh sitting on his branch, dangling his legs, and there beside him was one pot of honey. 4 days later, there was Pooh, and it was on the morning of the 4th day that Piglet's bottle came floating past him, and with one loud cry of honey, Pooh plunged into the water, seized the bottle, and struggled back to his tree again. "Bother," said Pooh as he opened it. "All that wet for nothing. What's that bit of paper doing?" He took it out and looked at it. "It's a message," he said to himself. "That's what it is. And that letter is a P, and so is that. And so is that. And P means Pooh. So it's a very important message to me, and I can't read it. I must find Christopher Robin, or Owen, or Piglet, one of those clever readers who can read things, and they will tell me what this message means. Only I can't swim. Bother." Then he had an idea, and I think that for a bear of very little brain, it was a good idea. He said to himself, "If a bottle can float, then a jar can float. And if a jar floats, I can sit on top of it, if it's a very big jar." So he took his biggest jar and corked it up. "All bones have to have a name," he said. "So I shall call mine the Floating Bear." And with these words, he dropped his boat into the water and jumped in after it. For a little while, Pooh and the Floating Bear were uncertain as to which of them was meant to be on top. But after trying 1 or 2 different positions, they settled down with the Floating Bear underneath, and Pooh triumphantly astrided, paddling vigorously with his feet. Christopher Robin had lived at the very top of the forest. It rained, and it rained, and it rained. But the water couldn't come up to his house. It was rather jolly to look down into the valleys and see the water all around him. But it rained so hard that he stayed indoors most of the time and thought about things. Every morning, he went out with his umbrella and put a stick in the place where the water came up to. And every next morning, he couldn't see his stick anymore. So he put another stick in the place where the water came up to. And then he walked home again. And each morning, he had a shorter way to walk than he had had the morning before. On the morning of the 5th day, he saw the water all around him and knew that for the first time in his life, he was on a real island, which was very exciting. It was on this morning that Owl came flying over the water to say, "How do you do?" to his friend, Christopher Robin, I say. "Owl," said Christopher Robin, "isn't this fun? I'm on an island. The atmospheric conditions have been very unfavorable lately," said Owl. "The what?" "It has been raining," explained Owl. "Yes," said Christopher Robin. "It has. The flood level has reached an unprecedented height. The who. There's a lot of water about, explained Owl. Yes, said Christopher Robin. There is. However, the prospects are rapidly becoming more favorable, said Owl. Have you seen Pooh? Asked Christopher Robin. No. I hope he's all right. I've been wondering about him. I expect piglets with him. Do you think they're all right, Owl? I expect so. Do go and see, Owl, because Pooh hasn't got very much brain, and he might do something silly. I do love him so. Owl? Do you see, Owl? That's all right, said Owl. I'll go back directly. And he flew off. In a little while, he was back again. Pooh isn't there, he said. Not there. Has been there. He's been sitting on a branch of his tree outside his house with 9 pots of honey. But he isn't there now. Oh, Pooh, said Christopher Robin. Where are you? Here I am, said a growly voice behind him. Pooh, said Christopher Robin. They rushed into each other's arms. What did you get here, Pooh? Asked Christopher Robin when he was ready to talk again. On my boat, said Pooh proudly. I heard a very important message sent me in a bottle, and owing to having water in my eyes, I couldn't read it. So I brought it to you on my boat. With these proud words, he gave Christopher Robin the message. But it's from Piglet, said Christopher Robin when he had read it. Isn't there anything about Pooh in it? Asked Bear, looking over his shoulder. Christopher Robin read the message aloud. Oh, those peas were piglets. I thought they were Poohs. We must rescue him at once. I thought he was with you, Pooh. Owl, could you rescue him on your back? I don't think so, said Owl after grave thought. Then would you fly to him at once and say that rescue is coming, and Pooh and I will think of a rescue and come as quick as ever we can. Oh, don't talk, Owl. Go on, quick. And still thinking of something to say, Owl flew off. Now then, Pooh, said Christopher Robin, where's your boat? I ought to say, explained Pooh, as they walked down to the shore of the island, that it isn't just an ordinary sort of boat. Sometimes it's a boat, and sometimes it's more of an accident. It all depends. Depends on what? On whether I'm on the top or underneath it. Oh, well, where is it? There, said Pooh, pointing proudly to the floating bear. It wasn't what Christopher Robin expected, and the more he looked at it, the more he thought what a brave and clever bear Pooh was. And the more Christopher Robin thought this, the more Pooh looked modestly down his nose and tried to pretend he wasn't. But it's too small for 2 of us, said Christopher Robin, sadly. 3 of us with Piglet makes it smaller still. Oh, Pooh Bear, what shall we do? And then, this bear, Pooh Bear, Winnie-the-Pooh, F.O.P., friend of Piglets, R.C., Rabbit's companion, P.D. Pole discoverer, E.C. and T.F., eels, comforter, and tail finder. In fact, Pooh himself said something so clever that Christopher Robin could only look at him with mouth open and eyes staring, wondering if this really was the bear of very little brain whom he had known and loved so long. "We might go in your umbrella," said Pooh. Suddenly, Christopher Robin saw that they might. He opened his umbrella and put it, point downwards in the water. It floated, but wobbled. Pooh got in. He was just beginning to say that it was all right now when he found out that it wasn't. So after a short drink that she didn't really want, he waded back to Christopher Robin. Then they both got in together, and it wobbled no longer. "I shall call this boat the Brain of Pooh," said Christopher Robin. And the Brain of Pooh set sail forthwith in a southwesterly direction, revolving gracefully. You can imagine Piglet's joy when at last the ship came in sight of him. In after years, he liked to think that he had been in very great danger during the terrible flood. But the only danger he had really been in was the last half hour of his imprisonment, when Owl, who had just flown up, sat on a branch of his tree to comfort him, and told him a very long story about an aunt who had once laid a seagull's egg by mistake. And the story went on and on, rather like this sentence, until Piglet, who was listening out of his window without much hope, went to sleep quietly and naturally, slipping slowly out of the window towards the water until he was only hanging on by his toes, at which moment, luckily, a sudden loud squawk from Owl, which was really part of the story, being what his aunt said, woke the Piglet up and just gave him time to jerk himself back into safety and say, "How interesting." And did she? When? Well, you can imagine his joy when at last he saw the good ship Brain of Pooh, Captain C. Robin, First Mate P. Bear, coming over the sea to rescue him. Christopher Robin and Pooh again. That is really the end of the story. I'm very tired after that last sentence. I think I shall stop there. Chapter 10, in which Christopher Robin gives Pooh a party, and we say goodbye. One day, when the sun returned to the forest and carried the soft scent of May upon its warm breath, all the little streams began to tinkle happily again, delighted to find themselves running in their own proper shapes once more. The tiny pools lay quietly beneath the leaves, dreaming of the lives they had lived and the great things they believed they had done. In the gentle warmth of the renewed woods, the cuckoo was practicing his call very carefully, pausing after each note to decide if it pleased him. And high in the branches, the wood pigeons murmured to themselves in their slow, comfortable way, complaining, as they often did, that whatever it was someone else's fault, though it didn't matter very much on a golden day like this. Christopher Robin whistled the special whistle he always used, and Owl swept out of the 100 Acre Wood with great importance to see what was wanted. "Owl," said Christopher Robin, "I'm going to give a party." "You are you?" said Owl. "And it's to be a very special sort of party," Christopher Robin continued, "because it's about what Pooh did when he did what he did to save Piglet from the flood." "Oh, that's what it's for, is it?" Owl said. "Yes. So will you tell Pooh as quickly as you can, and all the others too, because it will be tomorrow." "Oh, it will it?" said Owl, still trying to be as helpful as he knew how. "Very well. I shall go at once." He paused, thinking hard for something very wise to say, but nothing came. So he lifted his wings and sailed off to deliver the news. And the first person he told was Pooh. "Pooh," he announced importantly, "Christopher Robin is giving a party." "Oh," said Pooh, and because Owl clearly expected something more, he added, "Will there be those little cake things with the pink sugar icing?" Owl felt it rather beneath his dignity to discuss such un-owl-like matters as pink iced cakes. So he repeated Christopher Robin's instructions exactly and flew off again. "A party for me," Pooh murmured to himself. "How grand." Then he began to wonder whether the others would know it was a Pooh party, and whether Christopher Robin had told them about the floating bear, and the brain of Pooh, and all the marvelous ships Pooh had invented and sailed upon. And as he wondered, a dreadful thought floated in. What if everyone had forgotten? What if nobody remembered why the party was happening? The more Pooh wondered, the more muddled everything became inside him, like a dream where nothing goes quite right. And that dream began to hum and rhyme itself inside his head until it became a sort of song, an anxious Pooh song. 3 cheers for Pooh. For who? For Pooh. Why, so? What did he do? I thought you knew. He saved his friend from a wedding. 3 cheers for Bear. For where? For Bear. He couldn't swim. But he rescued him. He rescued who? Oh, listen, do. I'm talking of Pooh. Of who? Of Pooh? I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. Well, Pooh was a bear of enormous brain. Just say it again. Of enormous brain. An enormous what? Well, he ate quite a lot, and nobody knew if he truly could swim. But he managed to float on a sort of boat. On a sort of what? Well, a sort of pot. So now let's give him 3 hearty cheers, or 3 hearty witches, and hope he'll stay with us for years and years, and grow in health and wisdom and riches. 3 cheers for Pooh. For who? For Pooh. 3 cheers for Bear. For where? For Bear. 3 cheers for the wonderful Winnie-the-Pooh. And someone, please tell me, what did he do? While this song was wandering sadly through Pooh's head, Owl was already speaking to Eeyore. Eeyore, said Owl, Christopher Robin is having a party. Most interesting, said Eeyore. I suppose they'll be sending me the bits that got stepped on. Very considerate, very thoughtful, not at all surprising. There's an invitation for you, said Owl. What does it look like? Asked Eeyore suspiciously. Who dropped it? Does it have anything to eat? No, sighed Owl. It's simply asking you to come. Tomorrow. Eeyore shook his head slowly. You mean Piglet, the small one with the twiddly ears? That's Piglet, said Owl. But this invitation is for you. For me? Eeyore said. Are you quite sure? Of course I'm sure, Owl replied. Christopher Robin said all of them. All of them except Eeyore, mumbled Eeyore. All of them, said Owl firmly. Oh, said Eeyore. A mistake, no doubt. But I shall attend. Only don't blame me if it rains. But it didn't rain. Christopher Robin had built a long table out of long planks of wood, and everyone sat around it, Christopher Robin at one end, Pooh at the other. On one side sat Owl, Eeyore, and Piglet. On the other, Rabbit, Roo, and Kanga. Rabbit's friends and relations settled themselves, hopefully, on the grass nearby, just in case someone spoke to them or dropped something worth picking up. It was Roo's very first party, and he was nearly bursting with excitement. Hello, Pooh, he squeaked. Hello, Roo, Pooh said. Roo bounced in his seat and chirped. Hello, Piglet. Piglet waved, too busy wriggling with eagerness to speak. Hello, Eeyore, Roo said brightly. It will rain, Eeyore said gloomily. You see if it doesn't, Roo looked up at the sky to see if it didn't, and it didn't, so he continued along the table. "Hello, Owl." "Hello, my little fellow," Owl said kindly, and went straight back to telling Christopher Robin about an accident that had nearly happened to a friend of his whom Christopher Robin had never met. Kanga gently reminded Roo, "Drink your milk first, dear, then talk." Roo tried to do both at once, choked a little, and had to be patted and dried for quite some time. When everyone had nearly finished eating, Christopher Robin tapped his spoon on the table. All fell silent, except Roo, who was just completing a very important attack of hiccups. "This party," said Christopher Robin, "is a party for someone because of something they did. And we all know who it was. And I have a present for him. Here it is." He felt about for it, frowned, and whispered, "Where's it gone?" Eeyore gave a solemn cough. "Friends," he began, "including oddments, it is a great pleasure. Or perhaps I should say, it has been a pleasure to see you all gathered at my party." Pooh blinked. Eeyore continued, "What I did was nothing. Any of you, except Rabbit and Owl and Kanga, would have done the same. Oh, and Pooh, my remarks do not apply to Piglet and Roo because they are too small. I wasn't expecting anything in return, least of all what Christopher Robin is searching for now." He leaned toward Christopher Robin and stage whispered loudly, "Try under the table." Kanga shushed Roo. Piglet whispered to Pooh, "What does it mean?" Pooh said sadly, "I thought this was your party. I'd rather it be yours than Eeyore's," Piglet whispered. "So would I," Pooh whispered back. "Here it is," Christopher Robin cried suddenly. "Pass it along to silly old Pooh. It's for Pooh." "For Pooh?" Eeyore echoed. "Of course it is. Best bear in all the world. Naturally, one can't complain. Someone spoke to me only yesterday, and Rabbit bumped into me last week, or the week before, and said, 'Bother. The social whirl never stops.'" But nobody listened to Eeyore, because everyone was saying, "Open it, Pooh. What is it, Pooh? Hurry, Pooh." Pooh opened it as fast as a Pooh could open anything without cutting the string, because you never know when a useful bit of string might be needed. At last, he saw what it was, and he nearly fell over with delight. It was a special pencil case. Inside were pencils marked B for bear, pencils marked HB for helping bear, and pencils marked BB for brave bear. There was a sharp little knife for sharpening, a rubber to rub out mistakes, and a ruler marked in inches in case you needed to know how tall or how far anything was. There were blue pencils, red pencils, green pencils, pencils for saying important things in important colors. All of it tucked neatly into little pockets inside a case that shut with a very satisfying click. And all of it was for Pooh. "Oh," said Pooh. "Oh, Pooh," said everyone else, except Eeyore, who muttered that writing, pencils, and whatnot were overrated. Later, after thanking Christopher Robin, Pooh and Piglet walked home through the golden evening, thinking quietly together. After a long time, Piglet asked, "When you wake up in the morning, Pooh, what's the first thing you say to yourself?" "What's for breakfast?" said Pooh. "What do you say, Piglet?" "I say, I wonder what exciting thing will happen today." Pooh nodded thoughtfully. "It's the same thing," he said. "And what did happen the next morning?" Christopher Robin asked. "When?" "Next morning." "I don't know," I said. "Could you think and tell me and Pooh sometime?" "If you wanted it very much," I said. "Pooh does," said Christopher Robin. He sighed, picked Pooh up by the leg, and walked toward the door. Winnie-the-Pooh bump, bump, bumping behind him on the stairs. At the doorway, he turned. "Will you help me draw my bath?" "I might," I said. Was Pooh's pencil case better than mine? "It was just the same," I said. He nodded and disappeared. And in a moment, the soft thumping of Pooh's legs could be heard going up the stairs after him. The end.